Hello and welcome to the Health Oddity Podcast, episode 307. We are joined today by a returning guest, Hannah Camden. We'll quickly say hello to you, Hannah, now. How are you doing? You okay?
Hello. Thank you for having me back. I'm good. You guys?
We are very, very well. I can't speak for Pete. We are.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
so
put
a
his thumbs
thumbs
up.
up.
We are very good. I'll use the collective. We are very good. And just for listeners, Hannah, what has been on once before? It was back on episode 183, which I just worked out was 124 weeks ago, so about 2.5 years ago. And the episode we did then was called Movement is Medicine. And we talked a lot, Hannah, about your background, how you started your business, all this kind of stuff back then. We probably won't go over all of that again. We're going to kind of concentrate, I suppose, on what's maybe been happening in the last, well, since we saw you last, in the last 2.5 years. So we are going to look at that. We mentioned before, we've got lots and lots going on. We've got the Fitworks training. We've got the Garage Fitworks project, stroke KBX, which we're going to talk about. We've got the 24-hour Find Your Fit, which I know you did back in 2025, and you're planning on making it really kind of big and global for 2027. So we definitely want to talk about that. And then I think since last time we talked, you've also got some more world records, and you've been competing, and you've had a big shoulder operation, you said. So there's loads of
It's
ground
been
to
a busy
yeah,
couple of years.
yeah, loads of ground to cover. So I suppose, where do we start? Just in case people don't didn't listen to the first one, episode 183. If we can maybe just have the 3 to 5 minute recap on previous seasons, like they do on TV,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when you
No
watch.
more than 500 words.
Yeah, oh gosh. I did have to do one of those things the other day and it took me ages.
Because you do it, don't you? When you watch, I've just watched the new series of Clarkson's Farm, and then it
Oh, I
says,
loved it.
yeah, it's so good. And then it sort of says, if you want you skip you can watch the recap, or you can skip the recap, but
Yeah,
the recap just kind of gets you up to speed. But yeah, tell us just a little bit about. Yeah, go on, Pete. You want to say something?
I was going to say, I've just watched the episode where,
no, don't say which one.
no, with the dogs.
Oh,
It's the second last one, I think. He tries. He's breeding his dog. It's quite funny.
oh my God, I saw that. That was brilliant.
Oh,
They just
yeah,
stood
it's
there.
Standing there on the lead going like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
The dog
I
misses.
have you finished it, Hannah? Have you finished watching it?
No. So literally,
Oh,
in fact, talking about this, just before I logged on, I rang my husband and I was like, "Do not watch the last two Clarksons without me. Make sure you." He was like, "Hannah, I'll be watching." They're all football mad. He's like, "Hannah, there's just football." I was like, "Good. Wait for me. Do not watch that without me."
yes, no, it's very good, but we will give nothing away for you or anyone else who may be watching or listening who hasn't watched it or who hasn't watched it yet. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about just yourself, Fitworks Training. What is it you do? What's your specialty? Who do you work with? Just to give us a little 2 to 3 minute kind of reintroduction, if that's okay.
Oh, yes. So, well, I've been in the fitness industry for over 22 years now. Like, this number keeps growing and it's scary.
It
So
adds one
it's,
every year, doesn't it? 'Cause it's the same
oh
with
my
me as well.
gosh,
Yeah.
it's scary. The numbers just go huge. But yeah, so I've been in Fitworks training now for the past 8 years, and it started out as like outdoor training, and it's evolved, and I've owned studios and gyms before, but then I went back to kind of going back to my roots after a little bit of what I think we delved into it a bit in the last episode. We went quite into mental health, so that one kind of went all through that journey there. And I built up that business again, but with a very good friend of mine who now I'm business partners with, Pippa Lance, and we do Fitworks training. And actually, I literally just come out of a very exciting meeting because we're looking at a new location. So I can't give too much more away at the minute, but yeah, it's very, very exciting. But but yeah, we've got.
Just remind me, is your current location? It's a former fire station, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was the old St. John's ambulance building. So
Oh, ambulance. Yeah.
so when we walked in there, so Pippa was like, we needed storage at the time, and she was like, Hannah, do you want to come and see some storage space with me? And then she phoned me back and she said, oh, actually, Hannah, it's a whole building. And she said, do not get overexcited, Hannah, because she knows what I'm like, because I will go and see it, then there's a business plan, there's photos, there's plans. But anyway, it turned out we did like it, and we took the building on because it's a bit like what you've got, a fantastic, beautiful community of lovely people. And we train all ages, all abilities, and we do things from kind of high rock style classes to strongman classes to bar and yoga, and I teach aerial silks as well. So there's a huge range, and a lot of the people come for the community. You know, they're a lovely bunch of people. So I'm hoping, we'll.
So are you thinking this new place you're looking at, is this going to be in addition to the existing one, or you would move the existing one to something different?
We'll move this one because where we live in Beaconsfield, this building's going to be getting knocked down and turned into houses. So we're on the hunt at the moment. So it's a bit like, oh, we need to find somewhere. And yes, today, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're at that stage there. So, you know, you never know what's going to happen in life. But it had a very good vibe about it. So I have that side of things, but also I have the Garage Fitworks projects and KBX. So about 4 years, I got into the whole world of kettlebell sport. Like, I didn't even know there was such a thing. And I don't know whether we've spoken. Did we speak? What was I doing? I must have been doing it back then. Yeah, I was doing it back then.
What, kettlebell sport?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Kettlebell sport and mace and things like that. I remember. Yeah.
So they're all sticking it. I'm still doing all of that, and I've just competed twice now since my shoulder operation. Because back about I think it was about 17 months ago, I had a shoulder operation. I had a full thickness tear of the rotator cuff and a bicep reattachment.
Well, how did you do that? That sounds like that must have been a serious accident or injury that happened.
Well, I had a niggly shoulder. Okay. And I ignored it. And then I went into doubles. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do a competition and do double long cycle push press, 216s. And I was hosting a grassroots competition at my gym. And I was like, I did that thing. You know, when I was...
don't tell anyone.
Yeah. So I was like hosting the competition, running around, and I was like, right, I'm not going to compete and then there was a spare platform, and I was like, oh, I really want to compete. So I was like, I'm going to do it. Like, and my warm up was like a little warm up. Oh, I'm warm enough. Clearly not. And I got into it, and then you can see it on the video because I filmed it. And as I went up, I had 3 reps left to do. And I took it up overhead, and I heard a and I really wanted to get a certain number. So, of course, I carried on with the other reps afterwards. But then over the weeks, I realized, I was like, no, I have done something to my shoulder. I was in a lot of pain. So in our job, luckily we've got health insurance. So I was like, rang him up. And I spoke to a shoulder specialist, Richard Sinnerton, and he basically was brilliant because he's gave me a scan, and he said, basically, can you swear on here?
You can, yeah. Don't worry.
He said, basically, your shoulder's fucked. And he was like, you will not be able to lift again competitively. And I was like, oh, I'm too young, although I'm 41. Too young. I've got so much.
What, you mean you won't be able to lift again if you don't have this operated on? Or
he was basically like, your shoulder, everything. He's like, you're going to need to have this done if you want to competitively lift. He said day-to-day job, he goes, your shoulder's strong enough, you could live with it, right? But I couldn't really bring it. I had limited movement. And so I was like, yes, let's do it. I've got to do it. So then in my mindset, I could deal with that. I'm like, I know a plan now. Let's do it. I'm self-employed and I was going to have to take time out. You know what it's like. You have to take time out of work and plan everything. But it was the best decision I've ever done. It really, really was. They did this new graft. So I've literally I've just finished a documentary with Smith and Nephews. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're a big pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
And they've asked me to do a documentary about the surgery and the surgeon, because literally, I think it was 9 months later was when I was lifting in Hungary, and I got the world record. So 9 months after my shoulder operation, I was on the platform and I managed to get 909 reps with the 18-kilo kettlebell for an hour.
And what was that? Was that snatch? Was that jerk?
Half
What was
snatch.
it? Half snatch. Okay.
Yeah. So
with an 18 kilo, yeah?
Yeah. Wow. So that was a big moment then. I was so happy because I was just going with the flow. I just remember thinking to myself, what will be every day. I was just thinking, what will be. Let's see where we get. And I just built up. I listened to my body, and kind of went with how I was feeling after surgery, sticking to the guidelines, as much as you can. But when I went in for my month post-operation meeting with Richard, he was like blown away, because I walked in and I just took my sling off and like had my arm by my side, and he was like, well, you're doing all right then. And because there was a guy that had the operation like the hour before me, and he didn't move his arm out of his sling. He was very tentative,
protective. Yeah, very
very
protective.
very protective. And it's how, your mind body association. It's everyone's so different, right? But in my mind, I was like, okay, can I do this? I definitely couldn't move it, at the beginning, because obviously it needs all the healing, but I was still lifting bells when I could on my other side. So I was still moving, getting the blood flow going, training all the way through. I think I've had about a week off, 2 weeks off, and then I got this side going and got this bit moving. And I just I kept a diary all the way through. So I've got a diary from, building up to surgery to then all the way afterwards, and the build up to the competition. And it's quite interesting to look back on. But he said, your mind to body kind of association was really good. So
and we've spoke about this before, haven't we? And I know Dan John talks about it a lot, and I think Fabio talks about it a lot, that when you have an injury on one side, if you keep training the other side, you do get the kind of, that something happens, this kind of cross-referencing and hormones and, and all the rest of it. And it can kind of benefit. Is that what you were going to say, Pete, or something along those lines?
Well, no, there's a couple of things on this, because number one, if you don't have the surgery, you won't be able to lift and all that, and you'll have a certain range of motion and all that. So why wouldn't you anyway? Even if you're not lifting, why wouldn't you have the surgery to make it
live life
as good as possible, right? But the other thing was, what was I going to say? I was just going to say, I saw this somewhere once, and somewhere it might have been Adam Meekins who was talking about this, about how, when people try to lift and it hurts a little bit sometimes, and you obviously you did that and then got injured. But some people will do something, maybe it's a 2 out of 10, and they're like, I have to stop. But it doesn't always mean that's not always the case, is it? Because then they'll go and see a physio or someone who will give them 6 out of 10 pain, but they'll go, oh, yeah, it felt great afterwards. And it's like, well, why is that good pain, but that's bad pain? You know what I mean? So it's quite, I find that quite interesting, especially when you're recovering from something, you got straight back into it. And they do that after operations and stuff now, don't they? Get people up and out of bed and walking around as much as possible. And you said the thing about blood flow, and then James is talking about, getting all of that from doing exercise with other stuff and keeping yourself moving. And I just think it's kind of obvious now to me, but I wish it was obvious to everybody, because, you get some people who will say, I've had this operation and I'm going to protect it. So it's great that you've got a documentary coming out about it, you said.
Yeah, so Smith and Nephews asked me to because they've got a few people that they've done it with. So they used a new patch that they put over the top. They haven't launched it yet, but I had a sneaky peek look at it to see what it was like. But yeah, so they'll be putting it out there. But just to show the success of this new patch that went over the top. It's a little bit of cow.
So was this after the operation? You put
No, they put it inside. So they
oh, it's literally inside and inside. Okay,
inside.
sorry.
So it's like yeah, I should know it inside.
Is it like a mesh or something like that? Yeah, like a mesh.
And so yeah, he said basically, so if you've ever had an operation, they come around and see you afterwards. So he basically told me all the information then when I was half asleep coming out of the anesthetic. And but he said, yeah, basically it went really well. He said my bicep was hanging on by a thread. He said he had to reattach my bicep. And then yeah, he was basically said, but everything else you've just got to kind of now look to really, really like kind of, the first few days, like you cannot move your arm. You are. And I remember the pain after that shoulder operation was, oh my gosh, but it lasts. You just keep thinking this will pass, and it does. And it's the best thing that I ever did, because now, it feels way better than my right shoulder.
Okay.
It's like you're full of arthritis through there, Han, but
because I have that at the gym. We've got a number of people who've had, like, say for example, take a knee replacement, for example, and some people really fastidiously, if that's the right word, follow the instructions given to them by the sort of the surgeon and then the physio team, and they get really good, like Mark Rifkind has had, I think, 2 knee replacements, and you can get really good movements. You can bend more than 90 degrees but you have to kind of start working it like quite early, because otherwise the tissues around it kind of tighten up and stiffen up and clamp to it, and then you don't get that movement back. Whereas we've got maybe a couple of other people who've not done the exercises as thoroughly or as consistently, and a couple of years later, they don't have that movement in the knee where you can have the movement. So I think, like you say, it's just your mindset around rehabbing from the injury. And like you said, someone else had the operation an hour before you and have had totally different outcomes because they didn't do what you did. So
I think, like you said, the mobility is so important. Like, it's like anything, even if you don't need an operation, and if you start, as we start to get older, if you start to stop working, your mobility starts to go, you can move less, you can move less, right? And it's horrible when you can't move. Everything's a lot harder. So keeping that mobility is just so, so important. And have found, yes, with every year that goes on, you definitely, that warm up and that mobility is so important. So important.
I did a thing the other day, which I was teaching a kettlebell class, and there's only a few of them, and they were quite mobile, really good group, and we were doing Turkish get-ups, and I was like, right, well, try this. And I said, just with no weight to begin with, but like when you do a double Turkish get-up with the 2 bells, and you come up, and then you're here, and you have to go into like a shin box, and then you kind of shin box up, and then step and stand. And I haven't done it for years, but I like when you think.
Please tell me you filmed it.
No, I didn't film it, but I did say, because I haven't done it for years, and I just thought, but because I always used to do it no problem at all, I thought, well, I'll just demonstrate this, So I got a pair of 8 kilo kettlebells, and I kind of got up, and I didn't sit as well in the 90-90 position, the shin box before. It was really like, oh god, right, okay, right. I think I'm no go at this. It took me a couple of goes, and we say it all the time on here, and it's common sense for most people that use it or lose it. But it's so interesting that you think, well, your mind still thinks, well, I used to do that no problem, so I'll definitely be able to do that again. And if you haven't practiced it it wouldn't take long to get back, but it's just that you just have to start doing that again and get it back, because you do lose it, don't you?
It's the biggest is finding the time for it, right? And then because if you look at everything, so I tend to say to people, use that time to work on your breath work and your relaxation, time to calm your central nervous system, because you know, everywhere. We're always so busy nowadays, aren't we? And then we realize that if you look into things, you go, oh, I've got to do this and this, and fit what in, I've got to do this and this and this. And then, you know, if you notice and acknowledge, like, life is going to become tiring if you start seizing up. So actually putting in that, like, 5 minutes a day, or 3 times a week, 10 minutes, whatever it is, however it fits in comfortably in your lifestyle. And absolutely everyone is different. The only person that is going to be able to, you know, because it's one of those things we all know, but actually putting it in your diary and putting it in your lifestyle is the important part, and enjoying it. You know, putting your favorite tunes on, like sticking Oasis. That'll be mine. Sticking Oasis on and just like kind of, you know, work on my breath work at the same time as working on the mobility. I do a lot of I really enjoy at the moment. So I've got with Kettlebell 2 things coming out is KBX Sport and KBX Flow. And KBX Flow, they're 2 very different things. I suppose you've got your mobility side of things. So the flow is with a very, very light kettlebell, and sometimes just even doing the movement with your body weight first of all. It's great for cognitive function as well. So get your right and your left side of your brain firing, and you know, it frustrates the hell out of people, but then when you get it, you're like, oh my god, yeah, that feels really good. But because you're thinking about remembering the movement pattern, you're not really thinking about kind of where you're putting your body, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all these mobility movements. So you're kind of doing it, and then you've got music on, and it's a great way. So the KBX Flow is a good way that I get people enjoying mobility.
Is that going to be an online program, or is that an in-person thing?
So
I'm
at the moment, I'm in the middle. I'm nearly there with developing an app. Oh my gosh, right? And people will laugh at me because you're lucky I'm on this computer in front of me and switched it on without breaking it, right? But I'm developing an app at the moment where it's got 2 of those systems. So I've learned a lot through being in the going through the kettlebell sport stuff, right? I've gone, oh my gosh, so you need to have a kettlebell, and then you want to film yourself, but then you need a timer. There's so much you need. And I'm like, so what I'm hoping that, you know, you'll be able to switch on and you'll be able to film your kettlebell sets. But then this kettlebell flow is going to be, you can be a part of a community where I will be putting out 1 flow a week. And then in this flow, I break it down into manageable chunks. So you can learn each bit of chunk of the flow and then put it all together as well. But you know, the thing I love about it, right, is you can have this flow. So I could teach you both this flow, right? And you could make it both look and feel so different, because you could be on a day where you're feeling stronger and you go, right, I want to work a little bit harder. I'm going to use a little bit of a heavier kettlebell once you know it. And then it's slightly slower. Or you might be able to pick up another one and then, you know, stick a song on that you like and then get it to a certain beat kind of thing. And it makes me laugh because people are like, oh, it's like dancing. And I'm like, whoa, I'm not a dancer.
I was just going to say,
I'm not a dancer.
I was just going to say, which you won't like, I'm sure. But my mum does Zumba.
Yeah.
It's in this Zumba for like I think it's for over 50s, but most of them are like in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And with this trainer called Steph, and I follow this trainer on and this is why I'm going to say I follow this trainer on social media now and things, and she puts out each new kind of routine, if you like.
Yeah.
And what's quite nice is she puts it out and she'll break it into chunks so that people can practice it at home, so that when they come to do the class, it's not like the first time they've done it, you know, so they can build up their confidence and stuff like that with it and do it. Yeah. And it's kind of similar, isn't it? Because like, you know, some people are very, very coordinated and naturally, like you say, good at dancing, good at beats, good at remembering routines and things like that. But other people will find it really, really difficult, won't they?
Yeah. I have worked with a few clients who have had strokes in the past as well. And it really, really helps. I know that use a lot of mace and club work as well with them, because it's really, really good for, you know, working their body, nothing too heavy, but with the leverage and stuff with the mace. But it really, really works, challenges their brains. And you see, like, it's tiring work. I mean, knackering, but that's it. It's breaking it down, and that's exactly what I got, because I teach it. I can teach it as a class. So as soon as I get my app, or the way of getting it, I'm very close to getting it out there now. That they'll be able to download and see the flow, and then we learn it. But it takes a couple of weeks, kind of thing. But it feels really good once you manage. It's a bit like, I suppose, if you've ever done boxing and you do a boxing sequence or a combo or something like that, it feels so satisfying when you get it. And so it's just like that, and you're doing loads of different movements with the bell. And so that's one really lovely way of doing it. But then the other side of it is the KBX sports style that I've done. So I've created a whole badge system. So, in jiu-jitsu, or, kids swimming badges, right? I've written a program where you can earn your badges. So from everything from beginner to showcase masters, basically. And so there are these little test levels that you can do. And you just work your way through them, and you get like a KBX badge and a certificate every time you've done level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then once you get to level 5, which is pretty brutal anyway, there is the showcase one, which everyone goes onto a leaderboard. So it becomes a bit of a community kind of thing. So you can be competitive, or you can do it just to see a progression in your strength and the growth in kind of the build up in your skills with the kettlebells, basically. So that's the KBX side of things, the badges, which is launching in the next few weeks, basically.
I think that's great. Yeah, go on,
stuff
Pete.
Like that works really well, because adults are hilarious. They love badges and
they do.
And certificates and all that. Like, it's like little smiley faces at school. And honestly, you never outgrow that. It's amazing. And I love the competition thing, because you can compete with other people, or you can compete with yourself and just go, I'll get a level 2 by, August or something like that. You give yourself a challenge, don't you? And you'll be able to do it.
And also it's about all the different lifts as well. So it's working all the disciplines. So there's clean, there's long cycle, there's jerk, half snatch, push press, and full snatch. And so the other side of KBX is KBX competitions. Okay. So I've been working quite hard. My mission, right? I just want to get kettlebells in as many people's hands as possible. Right. And so working on these, exactly that, what you said, everyone loves a medal, everyone loves a badge or something, right? Is it like the high rocks? Everyone wants those the badges for their bags and stuff, right?
The Velcro patches.
Yeah, they're great. And so I just thought, well, let's do this. And so I've started doing it with all my members, and they are buzzing for it. They're like, right, I want to do my level 1, Han. So, but the good thing is you've got to get a certain amount of reps on a certain weight. But, if you can do 3 of those lifts, but you're really stuck on, say, push, press, and full snatch to get the right amount of reps, you focus that into your training, and it gives you a bit of a focus. And then when you achieve that feeling is so good. It's just such a good feeling. You feel really proud of yourself for doing it. And then you, like you said, you just go on to the next one. So that's kind of coming out. And but I'm also eking into the schooling system. So in schools, it's all about football, team sport, and stuff like that, right? Now, lifting for kids, as you know, because you do a lot of strength stuff for kids too, don't you? So is so important. And I was like, so I've had a meeting with the head of the whole of the Southeast. And I said, listen, just bring me 10 girls from one school and 10 girls from another. Okay. And it can be girls and boys, but this one was just girls, right? Sorry, no offense. That's how it turned out.
How dare you?
I know, sorry. Boys are allowed in.
I'm off. I'm out.
But I did. So I had 20 girls. They all came in, and I warmed them up with a little bit of kettlebell flow, and I just did a little bit of a chat with them, because they were all year 9. So that's like 13, 14 years old. And I did a little chat at the beginning about, not letting anything hold you back, always give things a good go. And so they were all open to using kettlebells. None of them had used them before. Now, with KBX, it started as a competition, right? So it's a relay. So KBX is a relay competition. These are the events. And so you would pick 3 people in your team. One of you would do long cycle, one of you would do jerk, and one of you would do snatch, right? And the lifts are 3 minutes on with a very quick changeover, 15 seconds off, and you'd go one after the other, and you would get max reps. But you have to connect, you have to get fixation. So the lifts they can't be bouncing out. You've got to look at getting all the correct fixations, and you'd have a judge in front of you. So I set up kind of a KBX event simulation. So we had the judges and then the platforms in the front. And so the kids have the opportunities to be judges. So they're judged for them, each other, and also lift. So they got into 3s. And I tell you what, the most beautiful thing about that day as well was there were 2 lots of schools. So after I had my little chat to them, one of the girls said, "Oh, well, should we pair up with people from the other school?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, how good is that? How good is that?" Like, rather than stay in their own little friendship groups. So that was really sweet. But we did this KBX knockout event. So they got into their teams of 3, and there were 2 teams lifting at a time. So they were cheering each other on. I had taught them. So I'd spent the 2 hours before teaching them these 3 lifts. So, okay, they weren't getting full fixation, but they were doing it safely, but they were getting just getting the feel of it. They absolutely loved it, and it's done as a knockout. So then it came down to the last 2 teams to who would get gold and silver, and then it was just, the energy was electric, and it worked really well, and the teachers were blown away. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to train the teachers. So in October, I've got 15 teachers coming to me. I'm going to teach the teachers. I'm going to give them the manuals. And then hopefully what's going to happen is we'll get teams from each school to come in and do a KBX competition after they've done the training throughout the year. And then it becomes like an inter-school competition style thing, but based on strength training. So for the kids who don't necessarily like team sport, or because they are lifting on their own in the platform, but you have got a couple of team members there as well, it's just something a little bit different.
Is there nothing like that? Is because obviously there's like football competitions and rugby and cricket and all of this sort of stuff, all the team sports. Is there nothing already like that, or is this going to be like the first?
This is the first. Like, I don't know. I might be wrong. I might have missed something, but from who I'm talking to, and all the teachers, like, there's no strength style competition. It's all your traditional to what's been out there, over the years, all the different sports, and even the like cross countries and athletics. But this is something which and it brings such a good, I don't know whether you've been to a kettlebell competition before, but this sparked off from, at the end of comps, we usually just for fun do relay competitions. And then that's what sparked me off going, so not only am I going to try and launch this into schools if it goes well, but I would really, really love to. We've done it at Wolfpack before. So do you know Ollie Mel?
Yeah,
we've had him on the podcast.
Yeah, he's been on a couple of times.
Yeah. So I mean, so we did one at Wolfpack, and it was amazing. It was brilliant. That was our first tester one, and we did it where exactly the same teams of 3 relay, and we did it as a knockout. And learning from each one I've done, I've gone, these work so well. This is very, very cool. So I'm now I'm looking for my first another gym to launch it in, basically to offer this, because you can be in a team with a absolute beginner or an athlete, and the way I've made it fair is by the point system. So going off what level you are on KBX, there's a handicap. So if you're an athlete, there's a different handicap to each one. So you could be in a team with a beginner and it can still be fair, but lift at a weight. So these events, so if we go in and run one, say at a gym, then anyone can enter a KBX team. And then we host a day, we have a live DJ, and we're going to be doing these KBX relay competitions. And then it's a knockout, so the point system. So you might end up doing 3 different lifts, but then that will take you to having a gold, silver, and bronze KBX winner, basically. So again, it's a little bit of a.
So is the event 9 minutes? So it's 3 minutes for 3 people. So it's each heat, if you like, or each comp is 9 minutes. Yeah.
Yes. So say we had 20 teams, right? And we had 5 platforms. You'd have 5 people judging, and the judges can just be anyone from the other teams, for now. And then everyone will go. So there will be 4 rounds in the first one, and then it's the point system. And then if you're the top kind of say 8 teams, you'll then lift again, and it's a bit of a knockout until you've got the top 2 teams. So you might lift 3 times, but then it's kind of a knockout system. But they're so fun to do, really, really fun. And because I'm trying to find, what I love about it is trying to bring kettlebells accessible for everyone. Because when I jumped into it, it was straight away, let's try and get into the England team. And that's great. That's really great. And I managed to kind of do it, and I've managed to go on my journey. But I'd love to get more and more people into kettlebells. And this KBX way is just a really fun way of doing it.
Yeah, 3 minutes is really accessible, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I think it's great as well, because like we say, in schools and that there's team sports, but this is like, it's an individual sport, but you do it as a team anyway, don't you? You've got a team of people with you, and you're all together. And I suppose it would be relatively cost effective for schools as well, because you only need a few bells, don't you? And then...
So you just go, and also 9 times out of the 10, these kids will get into it, and they could buy a bell. So I'm linked up with physical company, and they might want to buy a bell for home, because they'll have the programming. So these kids might want to do their training at home, because the only space you need is a tiny little area of space. And then it's just, but then also it might be there for the sporty kids as well, because it's only going to help them develop but then it's also great for the shyer kids, and the ones who are a bit nervous, like getting them involved, lifting. Some people's sometimes athletics, not I know you've got shot put and stuff like that, but not everyone is flying around a track. It's just, it gives it that something different for all kids, and it does give you confidence. It really does.
Yeah. No, I think it's brilliant. It sounds absolutely great. And I'd love to see more of that. And like you say, it's so easily to scale it as well, I suppose. Once you've got the system in place and you've got all the branding, which you've got, it's just to roll it out and have other people hosting them as well, isn't it?
That's it. Well, I just figure as well, a lot of my job is confidence coaching. And, when I'm going through times like this, I think about, oh gosh, because, this could get quite large. I just think, well, I never know until I try. And if I keep trying, we learn along the way, don't we?
It could get quite large, but why are you doing it? You know what I mean? Because this is one of the things I've been finding out is people are, and I've known this a long time, but like you start to see it more when you do things like this, is like people are scared to succeed. They're like, I want to do this. They get it to a certain point, and then they go, I'll just keep it there for a bit, because like if it goes bigger, you're like, how do I cope? But you sound like you've got, everyone everywhere anyway, don't you? So...
Well, no. Do you know what? But then I think that's the scary thing, is like I've just put this KBX and this badge system out there, and everyone's been so lovely. Everyone has just been like, oh, this sounds amazing. Like, yes, I can't wait to hear more. And I'm like, and now I'm just like, I need to get it all now. Now. I'm like, I'm running out of time. And then that's when I have to then go, no, you know what? Just because meditation is very important. Slowing down is very important to me. I've been there at a point of my life where I have driven myself nearly into the ground, and I will never go back there again. And so it's very important. I do my morning routines, my meditations, everyone does it in their own different ways. So I know when my brain starts going, oh my God, I've got to do everything all at once. What will be, will be. I know what I want to do. And I'm the same in competition, right? When it comes to competition, as soon as I start thinking about the other girls on the platform that I'm against. So I just did military snatch, right? So the last competition, we did the IUKL in York. So it was brilliant. It was up the road. It wasn't another country. England were hosting it, and they did, I can't even tell you, they did such a fantastic job. It was such a great event. And I was like, oh, what am I going to lift? There's no like marathons or half marathons there. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to give military snatch a go. I've never done military snatch before.
So what is military snatch?
So mil snatch is 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Multi-switch,
yeah.
as many reps as you can. Now the leap in weights on the IUKL are huge. So for women, you either have to use a 16 or a 24, right? And my biggest dilemma, right? Oh my God, this is just my biggest dilemma was like, right, I want to do mil snatch. I'm going to give it a go. And again, it's very different to half snatch, although you're going up, but getting that catch and getting that flow all at the right time is tough. So it's either 16 or 24 for a woman. That jump is so big. And I was like, I could do a 16 for 12 minutes, right? Don't get me wrong. It was hard because you can go at speed and it is very, very hard. But in my head, there was a silly little demon, which I'm glad I listened to, going, just push yourself, Han. Like, go on, give it a go. You can do 16. I could only do 4 minutes with the 24. And I had 8 weeks to train. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And what was holding me back was what was holding me back was going, oh my God, people are going to laugh at me if I can't do it. Or,
ego,
or they'll go, think. Oh, who does she think she is? And stuff like that. But then I didn't listen to that demon. I went up to Wolfpack and they were all training. So I just went up to go and train with them all. And I love them. I just love everyone in kettlebells, right? Everyone's so lovely. And they were like, Hannah, just try it. They were all doing their qualification videos. Just give it a go. And I was like, yeah, but I've got to get 100. I've got to get 90 reps to qualify. I was like, my max is like 4 minutes. And anyway, Ollie was stood in front of me and he was like, do you want me to count for you? And I was like, oh, okay, let's do it. And he did it. And I got 100 reps. So I qualified. And then in me, I was like going, oh gosh, I've qualified now. So I may as well bite the bullet and just give it a go. And you know what? I am so glad I did. It was the hardest 12 minutes. But I've also written up a book called The Still Mind Protocol, because I've written up how it's just as much. It's not just about the physical training. It's about the mental training as well. The adrenaline and the build up towards a competition to the actual day just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you've got to keep that control there. Keep your nervous system relaxed. I had to stay in my lane. I found out that I was lifting against the world champion, Liga. She is the most wonderful person. But I was like, oh, great, brilliant, great. I'm going to be lifting against world champion number 1. She is unbelievable. And I was against someone from Estonia and Latvia. And I was like, okay, there's going to be little old me.
Apparently the Eastern Europeans are quite good at this sort of stuff.
They are made from different stuff. So strong. But it's in their schooling system as well. I think a few of the countries it is anyway. But yeah, anyway, I was really happy. In my mind, I'd only ever done 10 minutes, right, up until comp. And then I was like, right, 2 minutes more, I can do it. And I managed. I had to put the bell down, or it slipped out of my hands with 5 seconds to go. Do you know what? I'm taking that. I'm taking that. Yeah, I'm taking that. So yeah. So
what were you doing in terms of, because obviously, just to explain to people, you're not allowed to put the bell down. If you do, you finish the set. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 12 minutes. Yeah.
If with the marathons, half marathons and marathons, different federations, if you put the bell down, you're out.
Yeah.
But with this one, for World Games and military snatch, like if you put the bell down, your number still counts. Okay, but you're
done.
You're out. You're done.
Yeah.
So
what were you doing with a 24 kilo snatch? And you can change hands as often as you want.
Yeah.
How many reps were you?
Do you know what? I
Were
knew
you
you were going to
changing
ask.
every? I've just wondered. Did you have a process where you were doing like 5 and then changing, 5 and then changing, or was it, you know?
Yeah, so I was doing, so in my head, I've been doing 6, 6, 6, 6, swapping every 6.
Yep.
And that worked for me. And for the first 5 minutes, we were head to head, all three of us girls. We were head to head. And it's really, really cool, actually. You can look back and watch, because Al and Ollie have done a new system called Battle Bell. And it's now you can have commentary at the same time as the lifting's going on, and you can see where everyone's placing first, second, and third, and it's incredible, that system that Al has brought out. Like, he's done amazing, and it actually makes the sport really, really fun to watch, because you can't, especially those 10 and 12-minute lifts, because you hear like everyone chatting about it. But yeah, it has made it a lot more interesting. Do you know what, though? I'm having an absolute mind blank on what I got. How bad's that? My brain is like so bad to attention to detail. I can't think what I got. What did I get? Trying to look, just scrambling through my what did I get?
While you're looking, there's I remember Finn, somebody commented on Finn, one of Finn's posts, when he was like mid set on something, and they're like, look at you, always really so composed. He's like, yeah, that's what I look like on the outside, because you don't want to be in my head, because you like, you guys all do. You always like, you look like it's easy. You make it look like it's easy, but we like, me and James know it's not. Some people might not, but it's it's sent from hell, isn't it?
It's yeah, it's been really interesting, actually, doing the marathons and now doing the shorter 12-minute set. I think one of the biggest things that kept me going was when I was walking onto that platform. My mantra is, step on the platform with confidence. Just step on that platform. I've done the training, and my training, with training, you have your good days and your bad days. And you don't know how you're going to be on the day of the event. You just don't know. So I figure during that week before, I'm working on my nervous system. I'm working on just staying calm, the food I'm eating, and then just giving myself the best shot before. And I was, not only that, I was looked at the timetable, and I was the last flight of the whole comp. So Sunday at 4:00, I was like, oh great, okay, brilliant. But yeah, I smashed my PB. I think I got 176 or 178 reps. It's really bad. I should know that, because.
But what? The first time you did it at Wolfpack, you got 100.
Yeah, 90. Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
90.
So I had to get 90, and I think I stretched to 100. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You got 100 there, and you got 170 something. You think?
176.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So do you know what? One of the biggest things I always say to all of my clients and everyone, I was like, with training, have a plan. Life throws stuff at you all the time, but just show up. Just show up. Just, again, it's getting to know your body and yourself. If you're feeling ill, and if you've got to sleep and your body needs rest, but otherwise just keep showing up. And then it's all about, handling things. Because I tell you another thing, which is very, very true, is post-comp blues. Post-comp blues are real, and people often wonder why, after an operation or after a competition or after a big event or even a wedding day or something like that, they go, why am I so tired? Or why am I grouchy the week after? Because adrenaline has been fight or flight mode all the way up until this massive event, to then the week after you're on this biggest come down. And you need to be kind to yourself and allow yourself. So quite often, a week after the competition, I try not to put hardly anything in. And if I notice myself knackered or grumpy or whatever it is, I can put it to, okay, I know why. Because I'm just trying to level back out before going back into the real world and working a million miles an hour again.
It would be, do you know what would be crossed my mind? And I don't want to put this in your head, because I get the idea of what you like, and this might set you off on one. And I apologize if it does, but it would be really interesting to see what this does with kids, like with exam results or with focus at school or like anything like that. You know what I mean? Or with dealing with pressure of exams or I don't know, SATs or whatever they're like, whatever they all. I should know because my missus is a teacher, but you know, with all of that, because there's a lot of pressure in school, isn't there? With all of that stuff, so it'd be really interesting to see. And obviously, sport helps like kids with lots of stuff like that. But some kids aren't into it. But maybe it's the more, I don't know, ones who put more pressure on themselves academically or whatever might be better at lifting because like of numbers and things like that. You know what I mean? Like how it all works. So that would be interesting to see if you can get that sorted and get some data in the next couple of years. We'll get you back on again.
Yeah, let's see. No, I'm really excited about what's to come. I mean, we haven't even touched on the 24-hour.
I was just going to say we've got just in the last sort of 5 minutes or so. Just talk to us a little bit about this 24-hour Find Your Fit, which I know you did in 2025, and you're looking to do this big in 2027. You've already got the date and everything set. So just for the last sort of 5 minutes, what is it, and how did you come up with it, and what are you looking to achieve in 2027 with it?
I've always there's been for the past few years something brewing where I really love doing charity events, and I've ridden my bike like London to Amsterdam and done loads of charity events like that. But I have a fire in my belly, and I knew there was something I would wanted to do. And I love people, and I love connection, and I love movement. And so I was like, right, do you know what I'm going to do something this year. So say in the February time, I was like, right, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do 24 hours of classes for Fitworks Training. And I was like, let's do 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off for a full 24. Whoever wants to join in, that's fine. They can either do the full 24 hours and get sponsored for it. And we raise money for a local charity called Being There. And then I was just chatting to a couple of other people, and I said to my friend Natalie Briggs, who works at Leo Gym, I was like, oh, mate, I'm doing this. I was like, why don't you do it at Leo? And then she was like, yeah. And I was like, right, well, this is quite cool. I was like, let's sync up. And so she organised it at Leo Gym in Marlow. And she had she had 40 people in the end doing it with her, all 24 hours. But I'm talking so we had Beaconsfield where I was, and then she got involved. And then I just spoke to a few other people, and I was like, oh my God, people want to do this. This is really lovely. So I just reached out to a few people, and then to a few people around the world. And I said to them, I'm doing a thing in September. So I gave myself from February to September. I was like, it kind of just evolved and it felt right. So I just did it. And then, the logo came and everything like that. And so we had many world records broken. So Johnny Skinner and Richard Freeman, they did 24 hours of kettlebells, where they did have breaks, but they carried on going for the full 24 hours. Then I had a couple of the guys, James and Johnny, did ski erg between them for 24 hours. So this was all at Fitworks. I had Rem, he did 24 hours of mace. So he was swinging the mace for 24 hours. And then we had all of our classes going for 24 hours. Marlow did exactly the same. They did classes for 24 hours and they got the whole community involved. So, I walked out and went round Beaconsfield. I did yoga in the pubs there. We went to the rugby club. We did stuff there. We went all around different places in that 24 hours to get the community involved. And she did the same in Marlow. And then Wolfpack did it. They kept a kettlebell going for 24 hours. And then I had people in Poland doing it. I had people in Wimbledon doing kettlebells. Then I had people where else was there? There was, we had 14 different charities at the end of the day, all raising money for those different charities. And I ended up raising, all of us together, £26,500. So wow. It went so well. But the most beautiful thing was no matter where they were in the country, in the world. So I had people in America joining in and New Zealand joining in and joining in the Zoom. I connected everybody around the world on Zoom. So no matter where you were, we did exactly the same 24 hours. So it would have been different in different time zones of starting times. But what was magical was we had, some places there was just a couple of people doing it. I've said to people, you cannot do it alone. That's a no. You have to be doing it with someone. Okay. But we had, and then, so you could make it as small a scale or as large a scale as you like. And then it just so happens it just went really, really well. And so I taken a break from it this year because there's so much going on with work and, getting a new building and stuff. I need to make sure I have the headspace for it. And also, so that's why I've put the save the date out early. So, we could get as many gyms, but it helps the gyms because what you're doing is you're going out to your community and the whole community going, oh my God, yes, I want to get behind this. But then it helps the businesses in the community get to know each other and, for such a good cause. And then you've got loads of different charities. So it's looking like we've got quite a few people in America. I'm hoping to do a kettlebell relay around the world during that 24 hours for the next one. But lots of little independent gyms, doing it however they want. There's some golf clubs that are going to keep a golf area going for 24 hours, So hopefully we're just looking to see if anyone else wants to join in and become a host. Basically.
I will definitely do it.
24-hour golf sounds like a game of golf to me.
Yeah.
I reckon that's how long it would take me to do 18 holes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just looking. So, because you sent me the information. So it's Friday the 10th. This is the UK time. Like you said, all around the world, it'll be different depending on time zones. But Friday the 10th of September into Saturday the 11th of September. In the UK, that's going to be midday on the Friday to midday on the Saturday. We'll definitely get involved at Unique Results because we did, I don't know if you know Mark Tonner, he did Lift for Life, which is a 24-hour deadlift marathon, which he had quite a few gyms doing, and we did that that was over Christmas, and he had the same thing. He had gyms all over, but we were all linked up. So you could see all the gyms on the screen in the gym and everyone was doing it. It was really, really good. So no, that's something. Oh yeah, I'll definitely get involved in that. That'd be great. And it's great that you can have lots of different things going on, so you could have, like you say, different people within the gym community or within the wider community doing, someone doing more of a strength-based thing, someone doing, I don't know, spinning or something, someone doing kettlebells, someone doing walking, whatever it is they want to do.
Yeah, you can literally pick and choose whatever you want to do. And what I tend to do is just I'll chat to the host of each place and then we just get it into place. And you can, but another thing with the 24-hour Find Your Fit logo, you would put your logo in the middle of it. So it keeps it unique to you. So it can push your logo out there and your business out there into your own communities, basically.
No,
well, we'll have a look at that as well then, because if you want to do some walking, we've got plenty of people who do that.
24-hour walk.
I'll happily go for a 24-hour walk. I've done it before. I'll do it again.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Yeah,
I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, we should definitely. Well, we'll talk more, but there'll be. So I'm just kind of putting the feelers out there, and then anyone who wants to join in, literally, they just need to save the date at the moment, and then just make sure I've got the details, and then nearer the time, or well, not nearer the time, but soon, you'll get like a pack sent to you about, and then you can put in as much, make it as big as you wanted to, but then together collectively we're a part of something much bigger.
And everyone raises money for like a local charity or something.
Well, any charity that is close to their heart.
Yeah, brilliant. No, love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, that's been so good catching up with you, Hannah. I'm really, you've got so much going on. God knows, I haven't got a clue how you juggle it all. But no, that's really, really good. No, that's absolutely. Oh, I've just mentioned. I just said juggle it. I was thinking about. Have you done any kettlebell juggling before?
Yeah, so I've dabbled in it. Yes,
Yeah.
I have done a little bit. They've
Yeah,
tried to get me to do the competition last year. I went to London to go and meet them all. And to go and do I did some juggling in London parks with them all after the competition, but I didn't actually enter it, but I have done it. Yes.
No, I just wondered because we had Elisha on here. Do you know Elisha?
Oh yes, yeah. So he's who I met.
Yeah, so we had Elisha on here, and it just made me think because you said about the kettlebell flow, and you do it with a light kettlebell and all the movements and how because so we had him on. He was great as well. But there's so much different things you can do, which is fantastic. But no, that was really, really good. If people want to follow you, find out more, about any of this stuff, about the KBX, about the 24-hour Find Your Fit. I mean, where's the best place for people to start following you on social media so they hear all this information?
I'd say the best place is Instagram at the moment. So there's a KBX page. There's then my Hannah Camden page, which is a bit of everything on there. And then you've got, the Fitworks on there and the 24-hour Find Your Fit. Each of them have their own different pages. So most information goes on to there. But as I said, there will be an app coming soon for all the kettlebell stuff.
Brilliant. No, that was great. Really good, Pete, wasn't it? Really interesting.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, really good. Now I can see that. Yeah.
I feel like I did all the talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like that 24-hour walking souls. That'd be
I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great. Brilliant.
Because I mean, I've already thought about it, but I could put together a route where we'd never double back or anything, and we could just start, and people could meet us around the way and stuff like that. So,
no, it would be so brilliant.
Brilliant.
You're on the list. You're on the list.
Put me up.
Oh dear.
Put me on the list. Put me on the list, Hannah, as well. That's great.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Brilliant. Thank you so much to Hannah. Thank you to Pete. Thank you to everybody for watching, to all of you for watching and listening. Please do like, share, subscribe. Leave a review if you're watching or listening on a platform that allows you to do so, especially Apple Podcasts. And if you are a trainer or if you run a gym anywhere in the world and you want to get involved in this 24-hour Find Your Fit 2027, then reach out to Hannah or reach out to us and we'll put you in touch with Hannah as well. But that would be fantastic. So yeah, thank you everybody. We will see you next week for episode 308. Until then, bye-bye.